So the next question is kind of, it's a whole bunch of questions in here talking about pretty advanced silo structure stuff. I'm not going to read all this because it's a lot. So to this question here about setting up a multi-location lead gen site, he's talking about 20 different locations essentially and having a separate location page on each, and he's running into some silo kind of issues with how to structure that correctly. So it's kind of a more advanced question. I can talk about this on a conceptual level briefly. I'm going to point you to a resource where I go into how I structure lead gen sites, especially multi-location sites. Well, either one. It doesn't matter whether they're multi-location or not. How I structure all local sites now for service area businesses. And what I do is I set up location silos using WordPress tags, right? So I have the topical or service categories, right, which is the topical categories on the site using traditional silo structure with categories, right? WordPress categories. Subcategories, if you're going to go with a complex silo over a simple silo, I don't recommend that. I try to always stick with simple silos now. But categories are your topical silos, and then I use WordPress tags to create location-based silos. And I show exactly how to do that, at least on a conceptual level. If you guys want, if you want the nitty-gritty and go deep dive into this stuff, that's what the mastermind is for, or heavy hitter club. But this is a strategy that I specifically that I use, and I talk about that in the mastermind and often. And so again, you have to join the mastermind if you want to get, hands-on essentially training for that. But here's a resource that I put together several weeks ago. Go to semanticmastery.com/process, semanticmastery.com/process. It's a process street process doc. I'm going to go to it now, and I'm going to show you where the training is for that, where I teach or I talk about in the website section right there. Okay. If you scroll through, I've got several training videos, 32 minutes for the simple silo structure video, 14 and almost 15 minutes for the complex silo structure. Then I talk about tag silos right here. And then I talk about theme mirroring here. Okay. And I've even got some examples here of what tag silos look like and how to structure them. So I would highly recommend that you go through this. That ought to answer your questions about how to structure it correctly. Something else that I do is just kind of answer your question as far as talking about writing 20 different articles. Yeah, I understand writing 20 different articles about the same topic is difficult to do, and I get that. So the way that I do it is I create on the topical silo page, right? So, let's say plumbing repair. I don't know if that's even a proper silo page, whatever. But let's just say plumbing services, right? Let's say it was a plumber site, and we were talking about plumbing services, and we got 20 different locations. Well, I would have like a 2,000 or 2,500 word article about plumbing services. That's the top of silo for plumbing services. It's a topical category. So you create a category page for that as well. And then I would have on that like super long form copy that covers all of the different services and supporting keywords and everything else that plumbing services would cover, right? And then from there, you can always link out to your individual location pages with like a table or something at the bottom, somewhere on the page. And so from what I have my blogger do is create Geo Posts. So in other words, my blogger will go in and she'll take so let's say the 20 different locations, and then she'll create posts where we target a specific keyword plus that one location, right? So the post is optimized for one of the supporting keywords. We might even start with plumbing services, the top of silo keyword, right? But the blog post itself will be optimized for, say, plumbing services plus one of those locations. So, plus city, so to speak. And then that blog post becomes kind of like the landing page for that specific keyword plus city. And then from there, any supporting post would link internally just to that post that would be placed within the plumbing services category. And you could set up tag silos to actually push relevancy in both topical relevancy, but also location-based relevancy into the tag pages, which are like, index pages or blog roll pages, right? They're archive pages, tag archive pages. And again, I cover all this in this training here. So I know it's difficult to talk about conceptually without showing it to you guys with visual, aids and that kind of stuff. But that's why I've got this here at the semanticmastery.com/process. You can go in and review the training here. If you have follow-up questions about that, you can certainly ask in Hump Day Hangouts, guys. But again, this is a way more advanced question than something we would like to cover in a free setting. And that's what the mastermind is for, or heavy hitter club. So for questions like that, where you want to get into the nitty gritty and the how to structure stuff like that, you're going to have to come into one of our paid groups for that. But hopefully, guys, I produced this whole process template here specifically to give you guys kind of a foundation to use to be able to structure, to figure out what to do and in what sequence or what order. And I've covered everything in here. Okay. So again, anything for exact step-by-step how-to, you got to join either the Heavy Hitter Club or the Mastermind, and that's just the way that it is. Anybody want to follow up on that?
Nope, that's perfect. Membership has its privileges.
That's correct.